I'm Kevin Flanigan with another edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods. It's a community outreach program of Operation Our Town. Now, Our Town's mission is to facilitate partnerships between community and businesses to fight drug use, crime, and using proven law enforcement techniques, treatment and prevention techniques to improve access in our community. On this edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods, we're talking with representatives of a number of programs who have been part of Operation Our Town and are helping to take care of that prevention mission. With me in this opening segment is David Taylor. He's the Director of Ministries at The Door in the Bellwood section of Blair County. David, thanks for joining us. Maybe you could start off by telling us a little bit about what The Door is.
Sure. Well, the Door is kind of unique in youth centers, and in that we try to not be a youth center for teenagers. We serve kids in the Bellwood community, grades 7 through 12, and we get kids, some from Altoona, some from Tyrone, Pinecroft, Greenwood, the outlying areas. And basically any day, Monday through Friday, a kid can walk in between 3 and 8 o'clock. They can find homework help, snacks. There's basketball courts, volleyball courts. There's a park to be in. There's a computer technology center, a fitness room, and there's a mom and a dad. And we try to make it home for young people that need a place to go. Maybe they're unsupervised after school, single-parent families, whatever it might be, and just be a real community asset to keep kids off the street.
Is that the primary mission, David, of The Door, to give youngsters or young people someplace to go when they have no place else?
You could say that. We're trying to prevent all of the things that come from having unsupervised young people after school. The issues of crime, issues of drug abuse, issues of neglect, all kinds of things that can come from just nobody being there for you. Some because of a dysfunctional home. Some maybe you've got a good family, but both parents are struggling to work and make ends meet financially, so they'd like to be there, but they can't. They worry about where is their kid going to be after school. Are they going to be safe? Somebody going to watch over them? Somebody going to make sure they get dinner? Those kinds of things. We do that as a community through The Door in Bellwood.
Sounds like a tremendous resource for the young people of the community. Now, you mentioned quickly the hours that you were open. How many days a week do you open your doors to these?
Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Why did you decide to choose that particular time frame for hours of operation?
Well, a study was done by CASA, which is the Government Center Against Substance Abuse, and the peak hours for kids to be involved in crime, to become a victim of crime, to try drugs, to be involved in premarital sex. The peak hours for all of that was shown to be Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 o'clock. And, you know, I used to think all the partying and bad stuff happened on the weekends, but statistics have shown between 3 and 6 o'clock, that is the peak time of need for those young people to have an alternative to that, because statistically speaking, at 3 o'clock every day, you know, now I know we're in the summertime, but 3 o'clock every day when the school bell rings, you have an immediate 14.5 million teenagers in our country that go out unsupervised. 14.5 million of them. Now, we don't have that many in Bellwood, but we have some, and there is a need for some good adult input into their lives and good positive things to do. And not every kid's an athlete, so they're not all involved in school athletics. Not every kid is involved in higher academics or things like drama club or chorale that would keep them busy after school. So for the kid who isn't into any of that, you might just say the average kid or a kid that may be struggling in some areas, what's for them? And The Door is the answer for that.
Now, how does The Door function? How do you support yourselves, and how do you make this whole mission work?
Well, The Door is a faith-based ministry. My wife and I started in 2002. We came here, and The Door was already up and running. It had been up for about 4 years and struggling to be what the founder, George Palmer, envisioned it to be. He wanted it to be home for kids who needed a place to go after school. And but he always felt it needed a mom and dad, and they'd gone through different directors, single people, and My wife and I came based on faith. We felt this is something God wanted us to do. I've worked with inner city teenagers most of my life. I've also been a pastor. And we came here to Bellwood. The job came with a one-bedroom apartment and across the street from the door and the building itself. And it was my job to raise my salary. If I wanted to fix up the door, improve the door, got to raise the finances to do that. We were pretty much given the building kind of like a blank canvas to make it. And today, I'm really appreciative for Operation Our Town. They have been a real help to taking that kind of rundown little house on Main Street and making it what a beautiful place of peace that it's become, and a huge financial help has come from our town.
Well, that's the kind of connection we want to explore a little bit here. What has Operation Our Town done for the door in the last couple of years? Or
Well, I guess probably about 2 years ago we started trying to interact with Operation Our Town. I've always been interested in pushing out the pusher. Young people who are unsupervised after school are a prime target for the person who would like to offer them drugs or alcohol. And we want those kids to avoid that and avoid all the problems that come with that. And they do if there's caring adults in their life. They do if there's a positive alternative for them to go to. And we applied for some funding for Operation Our Town. I had a vision that right on Main Street, right where the kids used to hang out on the street corner after school and get in trouble, that there should be a park, there should be a home, there should be sports activities, games, there should be a place of peace and fun for teenagers to go to that would draw them in. Finances for that, we had a building and we had a yard. But finances for that were limited. We had some financial help, and we had a landscape artist donate their time to draw up some plans for us. They said, "What do you want?" And I said, "Well, if money was no object, draw that, and if God provides, we'll build it." And we started one piece at a time, putting in some gardens. We got some money given, and we started to put in a blacktop basketball court. I contacted Operation Our Town and said, "Look, we're struggling. We've got half of the money. I'd love to build this whole thing for the kids in the community." They came down and toured our place while I was on vacation. I wasn't even, and they just looked at it and saw the value, talked to our neighbors, and they said, "This is something that's good." And they granted our request. We were able to put in brand new sidewalks. We put in gardens. We put in a garden with 600 retaining wall stones.
Wow.
A stream runs through it. There's a gazebo there where a kid who maybe just needs a peaceful place to get out of, if there's rough stuff at home or they've had a hard day at school, they can come and just sit and be in a place of peace. And yet there's also lots of activities too if a kid wants to get involved and do something fun.
well, how has the door operation changed with the end of the school year into the summer? What do you do over the summer months?
Well, I used to try to be open more hours, and I discovered that the American teenager doesn't wake up before noon.
Yes, well
In the
known there.
summertime. So I've decided I'm just going to keep the same hours year-round. There's a consistency to that. One of the things that I've tried to do consistently is have dinner every night at 5 o'clock. I know it's kind of old school, but back in the day when I was a kid, my dad used to go out on the front porch at 5 o'clock every night, and he'd stick out his false teeth, and we called it the 5 o'clock whistle. You could hear him anywhere in the neighborhood, and we knew it's time to come home for supper. And I want kids to have that regular influence in their life. It's dinner time, and we're going to sit down as a family, whoever's here, your family today, and we're going to have dinner together. And being able to provide that for any kid in 8 years, we've served over 50,000 dinners. And all of that's just been community support. That's just on faith. We don't have a budget to go out and go grocery shopping for. I mean, imagine what the grocery bill would be for 30, 40 teenagers on a given day. And we do that all year round.
Wow, and that's the amazing part, that it all seems to come together, that you find ways to manage. I mean, as you said, these food bills must mount up. Stores can't give you everything that you need, so how do you manage to make that work?
Well, we started with a lot of macaroni and cheese and hot dogs, but I committed from day one that doing the door, I want my family to be together to have dinner. There's no sense in trying to help somebody else's kids and lose your own. I wanted my family to sit down and have family dinner, and why not just invite all the other kids around the table to join us there? And thinking of the financial end of that, just like if this is something God wants us to do, He'll provide. And so far He has. we've gotten everything from, we've served venison from our friendly neighborhood hunters who have made donations. We've had grocery stores that have given us frozen goods or supplies. We've had, the biggest source though is from individuals. I have a monthly newsletter that goes out, and in the newsletter I include a needs list. This is what our food pantry needs, whether it be spaghetti sauce, whether it be pudding, whether it be snack foods, milk, eggs, cheese, bread, butter, whatever kids will eat. And we put a list out like that, and people shop. And grandmas and grandpas and some of the kids' parents and people in the community just, when I'm at the grocery store, they take their list with them and they bring 3 or 4 items, and together that just makes enough to take care of things.
Now, I'm curious why the outreach is for the young people to bring them into the organization. Is there a support network of families and older people and others that contribute to the door or keep you
we have
running?
Tons of grandparents who support us and love it. They see the need and sometimes the breakdown in their children's marriages and things that have caused grandkids maybe to need that little extra help after school. And so they're very appreciative. We just have caring seniors who go, I don't want to see these kids on the street. I want to see them have a meal with somebody who loves them and cares about them. I want to see them not do without. Now, we've got kids who come to the door who, it's not like they don't have food at home. Now, we do have some kids of financial need, and that coming to the door, it's pretty obvious they're hungry for more than just attention. They're hungry. They need a good meal. And so we have that issue there. But for a lot of kids, it's just there'd be nobody at home to eat with. Mom's working, you know, mom and dad both are working, or they're being raised by grandma and grandpa, and just having that place to come and be and sit down together. A study was done by CASA and about what 2 things do the kids that go right have in common. And a lot of studies have been done about how kids go wrong and where they wind up, you know, making a bad turn, winding up in crime or drugs or whatever. What are the kids that don't wind up that way? What do they all have in common? And the first thing was no surprise. The first thing revealed was that they belong to a faith-based or religious group like a church youth group or something, and that helps keep them on the quote-unquote straight and narrow. And at the door, we're a Christian organization. I share my faith with the kids regularly. We don't have a sit-down, Dave's going to preach at you kind of thing. It's more like I try to be a father or a big brother in their life and offer that advice when it's needed, when the time comes. But the second study, or the second item that came up was the surprise, and that was that kids who go right tend to have family dinner 4 or more nights a week.
Interesting.
And I thought, well, family dinner, even kids who have both parents and have a good home, who has time for that nowadays? And so our goal really from day one when that study came out was we're going to have family dinner. We're going to duplicate that. What I had growing up, probably what a lot of people who are watching had growing up. We're going to duplicate that for the kid who needs a family to have dinner with tonight.
Now, do you have a regular group of young people who come every day you're open, or does it vary? I mean, do people come a couple of times a week? How does that work out? We
have some I call the lifers. They're there every day from open to close. They just love it. It is a place that they really need. All right. We have some other kids who are there 2 or 3 days a week. They come when they're bored. They come when they're not at practice for sports or something, and they just want a place of fun to hang out. And we get a few who drop in now and then, the irregulars, you know, who come and go depending on what's going on, depending on what Dave put on the menu on Facebook. The kids check, hey, it's steak night. Maybe I'll head down to the door, you know what I mean? Or we're having tacos tonight. I'm dropping in. And so I use those social networking things like that to keep the kids informed and involved.
It's amazing how the technology keeps changing, but everybody seems to be plugged in, especially the young people.
Yep. Even the poorest kids seem to have a cell phone with text messaging.
Now, a little bit about the partnership that you formed with Operation Our Town. Is there a commitment to keep the door going and growing at this point? How's that working out?
Well, the Operation Our Town has given us quite a bit of funds, and I actually haven't applied anymore because we're trying to to use them all before I would ask for more. We wanted to put in new concrete sidewalks. We wanted the door to be a showplace of peace so that when parents drop by and go, is that a safe place for my kid to be? They go, yes, it's a safe place. They care about our community. It's a valuable asset on Main Street. They care about our young people. That place looks safe. It's pretty. It's nice. And Operation Our Town has enabled us to 4th of July weekend, we're putting in a brand new professional sandpit volleyball court.
Wow.
That's funded by Operation Our Town. We could not, I mean, we have a sandpit there now that spends half its time underwater because of rain and needing drainage put in and things. And that's something, when that goes in, that's Operation Our Town stepping in and saying, hey, 30, 40 kids a day who otherwise might be unsupervised have an opportunity to go to a place like the door. They're not going to turn into a problem for law enforcement someday. They're going to turn into the good moms and dads in our community someday. They're going to finish their education. They're going to get encouraged to go to college or to get some training for a career. Some of them are joining the military. They're going to have caring adults in their life, and they're not going to become another statistic. And giving us tools like a volleyball court, giving us tools like new carpet up in our building, giving us things like that that we couldn't do otherwise. I plan on wearing that place out.
Sure.
In a good way, you know what I mean, for young people. And so the continuing partnership, if we need support, if we have an idea for adding something that would really make a difference in the lives of young people, then I know where I'm coming. I'm going to come back and ask Operation Our Town again.
Well, the Operation Our Town is all about this prevention that you're talking about, how that works. Now, with the support that you've gotten, young people continue to grow, and do they graduate out of the program? Do you find new kids coming in at different times?
Well, if I looked at it as a program, I'd say kids graduate out. If I look at it as a family, you're never out of a family. We have kids who are bringing back their children now. I've been doing this 8 years. They bring back their kids. My wife will babysit. We play grandma and grandpa sometimes. They come back for life advice. Hey, I need help figuring out how to buy a house or insurance or a car. I need advice for how do I fill out these government forms for financial aid? How do I fill out my taxes for the first time? And I find myself doing all the things that a dad would do, or my wife, a mom would do, being that extended family to these young people. And a lot of them, that's exactly what we are. And so in that sense, you never really graduate. You're always one of our kids. Now, we let the college-age kids and older come back. We have a couple of requirements on them. You got to have a job, or you got to be actively seeking one, because teaching kids progressive unemployment, you know what I mean, perpetuates a dependence on the system. We don't want the kids. We try to teach the kids that as you're growing up, a good young man or young woman contributes to the family that they're in. We give them chores to do around and expect them to help like that. If we take them to summer camp or whatever, they've got to work to earn it. We'll provide scholarships, but there's no free ride in life. You give back in your own way, in whatever way you can, and we teach them to get jobs. So they got to be employed or actively seeking a job, which means you are out every day trying to get a job. And if you need a ride to go apply, we'll help you. If you want to use our computers to apply online, we'll do that. You can't be in trouble with the law. You got to be a good example when you're here. You got to help the other young people. Be someone they can look up to and say, you made it, in spite of all of the adversity you had in life, and I want to try to make it too. And the third thing is you got to help out.
Okay.
There's no bums. That's what I go. You come here and you're going to have dinner here, and you're a man or a woman, you're out of school, then you contribute. You know what I mean? You lend a hand, you help out, and that's been success. And if you don't want to do that, well, it was nice. We care about you and all that, but these are things in life that adults got to learn to do. And we wouldn't love the kids if we didn't steer them that way.
It sure seems like you teach them a number of valuable lessons in so many different directions, David, when they get involved with the door.
Well, that's what we're trying to do, and that where a key partnership with Operation Our Town, that's where our missions overlap. I don't want these kids to be involved in drugs. I don't want them to be a victim of crime. I don't want them to wind up in prison. I don't want them to repeat mistakes of previous generations. We want to break that and change that and give them a significant hope and a future and change their today. Give them a better day today. Some of the kids come from a rough background. Some of the kids have been through some really hard things I can't even imagine, because I grew up in a stable two-parent family, lived in the same house in the suburbs all my life, and went to a really good school. I had a lot of advantages. You know what? And the Lord said, to whom much is given, much is required. I can give that back.
Well, it sure sounds like the Door is the kind of program that Operation Our Town supports and finds a way to give back to the community by supporting these organizations. The work you're doing in the Bellwood area just seems like it's amazing and making a real difference in these lives.
Well, I love it. I've been amazed by all that we've been able to do, the changes in the building. I mean, yesterday I was building cabinets in the computer room, and the new carpet was just in this week that our town gave us a grant for, and we were even able to hire parents of the kids that work there to give them work to put the carpet in. So it just goes to help and teach them, hey, we're going to tear this out and get the kids involved in. They want to go to camp. I've got scholarship money for them to go to camp. We'll come and tear out some old carpet with me, and we'll put new stuff in. So maximizing what we're given to teach kids work, to teach them, you know, contributions, and to just the multifaceted extent of all of it.
All right, David Taylor, Director of Ministries at the Door. Thanks for sharing your story with the Door. We'll be back in a bit with more from Operation Our Town success stories and how this effort is making a real difference in our community. Stay with us.
Be a good neighbor at Mainline National Bank. That means helping a neighbor with their business, home, or child's future. For Operation Our Town, it means eliminating drugs and crime from our community. In just 3 years, Operation Our Town has helped to reduce crime, provide drug treatment and prevention programs, and much more. Mainline National Bank encourages you to be a good neighbor and take back our neighborhoods. Go to wearecentralpa.com to find out how. Mainline National Bank, your good neighbor bank.
Welcome back to this edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods program, a community outreach of Operation Our Town. Today we're looking at some of the programs supported by Operation Our Town and how those programs are making a real difference. Joining me for this section of the program is Toni Bilik. She's the Executive Director of the Gloria Gates Foundation, Memorial Foundation. Gloria, Toni, if you would, tell me a little bit about what the Gloria Gates Foundation is and what you try to do.
Well, the Gloria Gates Foundation has after-school programs and summer programs for children entering kindergarten through 6th grade.
Okay.
And we try to reach the kids to get them to, first of all, and most importantly, do well in school. We support everything that the schools do. We make sure the kids get their homework done. We try to offer tutoring that is directed towards whatever the kids are working on in school. Basically, the reason we want them to succeed in school is because then their chances of succeeding in life, succeeding in life in ways where they are not getting involved in drugs or in related crime, and they have a good, healthy, happy life. If they succeed in school, the chances of that happening are just doubled, tripled. They just have a much better chance. We care about the kids. We want to think that their future is bright. And so that's what we're working towards.
Now, is there a specific group of children that you work with, or where do you draw your clients from?
Right now we have 2 after-school programs, one at Evergreen Manors and one at Fairview Hills. Those are both low to moderate income housing developments. In August, we're fortunate to start our 3rd site, which will be at Logan Hills, also in Altoona. We have, believe it or not, other entities that are asking us to come into their neighborhoods. They're trying to raise the funds so that we can start an after-school program there too. And so I think that at this point we have 3, but we're hoping to even grow further.
Wow, that's terrific that you see the need out there and you're clearly addressing the issues out there. Now, how about the children that come to the program? Do they come directly from school, or is that how they get involved with the program?
Most of the kids jump off the bus and then race. Every day, it seems like that's the game, is to see who can get to the after-school program first. Some kids stop in and, their parents like them to check in before they come to the after-school program. And for the most part, they come within 10 minutes after getting off the bus, whether they check in or not. They come straight to the after-school program because we have their snack waiting for them. And
Snacks
that
always
counts.
work.
They look forward to that. And we always have things there that they really like.
Now, the effort that Operation Our Town plays in supporting the foundation and the work that you do, what has Operation Our Town done for the Gloria Gates Foundation?
Well, they have been one of our biggest supporters. When I mentioned that the kids rush to get the snack, we do provide a very, very healthy snack because not every child will get a large, healthy supper every evening. Some families that have financial problems or just maybe in particular evenings aren't organized enough to have everybody around the dinner table. And so, and you're thinking, oh, it's just food, but we need the children to come. We need them to come every day in order to do what we do and to do it well. And if that snack brings the kids in, then Operation Our Town's funding of that snack is bringing the kids in to us so that we can reach them, and that's big. Secondly, because our foundation was founded by Zane Gates, Dr. Gates, who grew up at Evergreen Manors, we do put a lot of emphasis on health and nutrition. And our snack has a lot of whole grains and fresh produce and, of course, milk every day. And so Operation Our Town not only helps bring the kids in by funding this healthy snacks, but it also adds health to the kids because it is something that they may or may not get in the evening, those particular foods.
Well, it sure seems like with this time of tight government support and a lack of social program support from some of those governmental entities, you must be turning a lot to the community for support. Is that where Operation Our Town fits in as part of a community support of the operation or of the foundation?
Yes, it definitely fits in that way. It's a source that has been very good to us, and they have even said to us, we like what you're doing. It fits in with what we are trying to do in the community. Don't be afraid to apply every year. And when they said that, it kind of made us feel like they have our backs, like they understand our mission. It ties in with what they're doing, and they have acted like a big brother or a relative, saying, don't be scared. We know what you're doing, and we're going to help you. And it doesn't get any better than that. They've been wonderful to us.
Because it seems like your foundation's mission is the same prevention goals and the improvement of lives of people in need that Operation Our Town is trying to do in terms of improving life in the community.
I think it is. I think of it as Operation Our Town, for one thing, is trying to fix a major problem in our community before it gets worse. And a lot of what they're doing as far as crime prevention is working with adults in the community. The Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation is working with children who could take those same paths as far as getting involved in drugs and crime. But if we get to them early enough, they won't. So hopefully, I guess it's sort of like we're the junior troop. We're trying to get to the kids while they're young. Whereas Operation Our Town, of course, is also trying to fix the problem where parents maybe didn't have, not parents, but adults didn't have support when they were younger, and therefore more vulnerable to drugs and the related crime. So we're trying to get to the little kids before they fall into those patterns.
What sort of facilities does the foundation have, or where do you hold these after-school programs?
Evergreen Manors, Fairview Hills, and Logan Hills all have a community room. And they have invited us to come in and use their community room in order to reach the children. So it's their way of supporting our program, is providing the facility and, of course, also the utilities that come with that. And they've been wonderful to us. And we're really looking forward to going into Logan Hills. They're preparing for us now, because I said August will be our first time there. And I've been having conversations with the management there, and they are doing some remodeling so that we will be able to keep our school materials secure and stuff when we're not there. And they are advertising our program, and they're just been wonderful to us, very welcoming. Can't wait to see it up and running, because they know that these children need to have an after-school program where they can get help with schoolwork and also character building. They don't want to see the kids. They don't want to see the kids unhappy in the future.
Sure.
Which, face it, if you're addicted to a drug, or if you're running from the police all the time, what kind of life is that? Nobody wants to see kids into that pattern. And so the management at Logan Hills also is happy to see that the kids are going to be reached.
While you're primarily an after-school program, what do you do during the summers? How does the operation, are you forced to close down, or do you stay open in some way? Or?
Well, at this point, we have a summer program at Evergreen Manors and Fairview Hills. Now, next summer, we will also, of course, have it at Logan Hills. We have a 2-week summer program at each of those 2 sites where we do the normal stuff, crafts, games, sports, but we also do some brush up on reading and math skills. Like I said, we really focus on success in school. And then we will be taking 47 kids from those 2 developments to Penn State Kids College. We've done that now. I think this will be our 5th year, where Penn State Altoona, they've been a wonderful supporter to us, wonderful. But they of course have several weeks of Kids College, where kids can choose whatever class they want to take that's developed for children. And our kids get to go for a full week. Penn State Altoona sends their big, beautiful white bus with a big Nittany line on it. And it comes into Evergreen Manors, and the kids get on, and then we'll go to Fairview Hills, and those kids will get on. And they're all registered for the week to take the classes that they chose to take, and then it'll bring us back at night, and all of these very tired but happy kids will get off, and the next morning they get back on, and it's just a wonderful experience for all of the kids. And again, Operation Our Town pays a portion of that tuition for these 47 kids to go. And it's just such a great experience, because it really boosts the kids' enthusiasm. The first year they go, they're kind of scared. The second year they go, they act like they own the campus. They're just very confident. They know where everything is. They've met other friends that live outside their own little world. And I just think that they get to see a segment of the world that they may not have seen if they didn't go there. A lot of the kids come back on the bus saying, I'm going to go to Penn State after high school, which is great, because now they're not afraid
Opening
of
the
college.
doors to the children. I
Right.
mean, wow.
And then you add what they're learning in Kids College, and it's a great experience for them. And again, we could not be taking 47 kids to Kids College without supporters like Operation Our Town.
Well, it just seems like it would be such a difficult task to keep gathering the resources you need to run this wonderful program.
It's scary, because I can see the need and I can see the impact. Believe me, when kids come bouncing into the after-school program because they got an A for the first time, say on a science test, never had it before, they are so thrilled. And then they realize they can do this, and so they want to do it every time. So I can see the impact. And it's scary to think that what if someday we wouldn't be able to help these kids, and if they would therefore go backwards in school and maybe not graduate at all, or their attendance would slip. You know, we care about these kids so much, we don't ever want to see that happen. But with support, like Operation Our Town and our other funders, I think we'll be able to keep it going. I don't like to think about ever stopping this program.
It sure sounds like not only going, but expanding into different areas, which is what you're trying to do. How about in terms of staff? Are you able to recruit the staff and the employees, the people you need to keep the program running?
I think that in addition to the funding, of course, the most crucial component is the staff. And we have been really fortunate so far. Our staff care about the kids as much as I do, as much as Dr. Gates does. And the children really bond with our staff. We have been really fortunate to find people, though I do think that when people apply to work for the Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation, they come in knowing what we're about. And Dr. Gates has been the champion of our whole mission. And if they get to know Dr. Gates or see him through the media, they want on his team. And then because of that, we do end up getting staff that come in running, ready to help, ready to work with the kids, and they know what they need to do in order to get through to the kids.
It seems like getting the message through to them early almost shapes a life or can put the children on the right path, and that's what you and Operation Our Town seem to be all about.
I think that's exactly right. Is the kids may, a lot of our kids may have been exposed to various things, whether it's drug use or crime or even indifference as far as education. They may have been exposed to that, a lot of the kids already, but when they come to the after-school program, and we're so focused on positive things, and especially on a positive future. And I think it's good for the kids to hear when they're very young that their sole job in life at that point is to create a good future for themselves, and it is in their hands, and here's how you do it, is you do well in school, and you stay far away from drugs or smoking or anything that can hurt your body. And you do everything that you can to succeed. It's your mission. Even though you're young, you can do it simply by doing homework and going to school and staying out of trouble. And even though the kids are little, they can understand that. And then if you say, and we're all here for you, and we're going to help you, then they know for sure that they can do it.
Does it seem like you have a pretty set group of children, the same ones come back day after day, week after week?
We have a lot of kids that attend our after-school program every single day. And we have a couple that, well, they have to attend at least twice a week in order to be considered, in the program enrolled. And we have some that may only come in twice a week. But even then, I think we're still getting through to them, because the fact is they want to come back at least twice a week. Some of them, they go a little astray after school. They find something that might be more fun to do. Then they get hungry and wish they had come in. But for the most part, we do have kids that come every single day, year after year. So when we say, for example, say if we reached 80 kids one particular school year, we're talking 80 kids, 2.5 hours a day, maybe 5 days a week.
Wow.
And maybe 180 days of the year. So we're talking a big impact on the kids.
Well, Toni, it sure sounds like the Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation, Operation Our Town are pushing in the same direction, trying to accomplish the same goals, and it sounds like a good partnership the way things have worked out there.
I think it is. They have been great to us, and I hope that they feel also that we're on their team, helping them out, and that it's a mutual kind of thing.
Clearly the case. Well, we'll continue on with a look at some of the organizations being supported by Operation Our Town when we come back. Stay with us.
Be a good neighbor. At Mainline National Bank, that means helping a neighbor financially with their business, home, or child's future. At Operation Our Town, it means taking back our neighborhoods by eliminating drug use and violent crime. That's why Mainline National Bank supports Operation Our Town. Operation Our Town's mission is to facilitate partnerships between community and business, to fight drug use and crime through proven law enforcement, treatment, and prevention techniques. It was a dramatic increase in violent crime and drug use that brought about the formation of Operation Our Town in 2007. A group of concerned business leaders gathered to discuss how to address these mounting issues. What they discovered was most organizations, including law enforcement, did not have the resources needed to deter and reduce the criminal stronghold on our neighborhoods. Within a few short months, dozens of local businesses committed financial and other support to take back our neighborhoods. Partnerships were forged between Operation Our Town and existing organizations with proven law enforcement, treatment, and prevention techniques to address these areas. Since 2007, over $1 million in grants have been awarded to local organizations. Drug arrests have increased by 30%. Calls to push out the pusher have increased by 47%, and overall accidental drug overdoses decreased by 37%. But much more needs to be done. Mainline National Bank encourages you to be a good neighbor and go to wearecentralpa.com to find out how you can help. Volunteers and financial support are needed to continue this fight to take back our neighborhoods. If your organization would like to partner with Operation Our Town, or if you know of someone that needs help, go to wearecentralpa.com and click on Operation Our Town to learn more. Mainline National Bank, your good neighbor bank.
Thanks for staying with us on this edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods. We're looking at some of the community outreach programs supported by Operation Our Town and how that support is making a difference. With this segment, we're talking with Lori Schultz, who's with the Blair County Respiratory Disease Society. Lori, thanks for joining us. And maybe we could start with a little bit of an overview about what the Blair County Respiratory Disease Society is all about.
Okay. The Society offers a variety of programs. We offer a Cribs for Kids program that educates families about safe sleep education, how to reduce the risk for the sudden infant death syndrome and accidental suffocation. We also offer asthma and allergy testing and also an asthma allergy workshop, baby safety shower every year in Altoona Regional Health System. Collaborates with us for that, and it offers educational sessions for new families, families that have more than one child. They come and they're provided with education on a variety of topics, from health to pregnancy, what to do while they're pregnant, what to eat, any problems they might have. We also offer a Dr. Dad and Dr. Mom workshop. Those are our two newest programs that we've had developed, enhancing families' parenting skills that they already have on how to care for a child ages 2 and under.
The Dr. Mom, Dr. Dad program sounds like something that fits in an awful lot with what Operation Our Town is trying to do with the whole prevention and getting people on the right path. Tell me a little bit more about that specific program.
The Dr. Dad, Dr. Mom programs, as I said, enhances the already parenting skills that the father and mother do have. It builds protective factors around the child. We have found that building protective factors also reduces the risk for later drug and alcohol use, tobacco use with the children and also with the adults. It takes the parents through 4 sessions, a well session, 6 session, injured, and also safe session. The well session entails anything from nutrition, how to deal with dehydration, injuries, anything from bumps to bruises to cuts, safety in the home, outside the home, anything from poisonous plants to what to do with blinds and extension cords, things like that, anything to do with the kitchen, how to protect their child if they're in there.
Wow.
And also the injured child, the safe child. The sick child talks about what to do with fevers, the difference between a virus and a bacterial infection, when to call a doctor. It builds upon a lot of skills that the parent needs, and we have found that oftentimes parents aren't equipped with all that knowledge, so this provides them with that.
It sounds like the Respiratory Disease Society is kind of expanding or growing. There's just so many different things out there to teach people about.
Yes, and we're expanding the programs based on the needs in the community. And we have found that fathers and mothers, new fathers and mothers, if they're not living together, they're living in separate households. We've worked with DUI drug court program with their mothers and fathers, domestic relations. We've had people come to us that they need to have a parenting class in order to see their children. And it also helps, especially with the fathers. Mothers oftentimes have some more of the skills than what fathers do, so it gives the mother a sense of comfort knowing that the father has had this class and they're able to care for the child when the mother's not there.
It seems like a mission that tracks very closely with what Operation Our
Yes.
Town is trying
Yes,
to
it
do in
does.
prevention. What sort of support has the Respiratory Disease Society gotten from Operation Our Town?
We've received a grant from Operation Our Town to expand the Dr. Dad, Dr. Mom program. So we've actually reached out into other areas of the county. We've done some in Newry. We've also done some in Roaring Spring. And we're going back to Roaring Spring in September to do another Dr. Dad program. So we've been able to take the program outside of the Altoona-Hollidaysburg area and expand it in those areas.
How do you let people know that this program is out there? How do you get them involved?
I do mass emailings. There's flyers out. The Altoona Mirror has been very gracious and actually put in the workshops into the paper for us the last couple of times that we've done the workshops.
What kind of reaction do you get from folks that have been involved or signed up for the program?
Well, we've done follow-up surveys with everybody that's attended or participated in the program, and we found that they've become more aware of what it takes to raise a child. They're co-parenting more effectively with both parents, especially if they're in two separate households. We found that out as well. They know what it takes to raise a child. They are supportive of both mother and father, vice versa on their parenting skills oftentimes are different, so they've been able to come together to parent effectively that way.
Is it the support of Operation Our Town, or does that support of Operation Our Town play a key role in enabling you to expand these programs and to reach out to the community?
Yes, without the funding from Operation Our Town, we would not have been able to expand as far because funding is a key issue for this particular program.
Are there other programs that Operation Our Town supports, or is it primarily this Dr. Mom?
It's this particular program that we have received funding for to support this program. And again, we've been able to enhance it and been more effective with the program.
Who handles the actual instructions that are involved in the program? Who teaches the classes?
I teach the class. I've been trained in the Dr. Dad program, so I do both programs. And I also do the follow-up survey calls with all the families to make sure that they don't have any questions or nothing has arisen that they need some assistance with.
Is it a particular segment of the population that you target, young parents or a specific group of people out there?
We target anybody that would be in need of the class, anybody from single, divorced, married couples. I've had a variety of different families come through. We have families that are going through divorce that want to just get the knowledge, to be able to care for their child whenever they're with them.
Sure, anytime that there are challenges out there, if people can find ways to better support the kids, I guess that's what they're all about.
Right, and they're also given everything. They're given workbooks, DVDs, concrete stuff that they can take home with them that they can refer back to.
Where did the program come from? How did you find this Dr. Mom, Dr. Dad program?
The Dr. Dad program is through National Fatherhood Initiative. That is where I was trained for that particular program. And in doing the Dr. Dad program, what I had found out is that mothers also needed this very vital information. So I developed a Dr. Mom program paralleling the Dr. Dad program. So mothers and fathers are getting the same information. I was just doing my own research and developed my own workbook for that.
Do you find that this program fits in well with the rest of the work that the Respiratory Society does across the board?
Yes, it's a very nice fit because we are working with a lot of families with small children, so they come in for the Cribs for Kids program. I'm able to tell them about the other two programs. We have teen parents coming into our office, single, divorced families. So it's actually a very good fit for the program.
If somebody's interested in upcoming sessions of the program, how do they go about enrolling or signing up or getting involved?
They can contact the Respiratory Disease Office at 814-944-8222.
Okay, and your office is where?
It's located in Lakemont Park,
Okay.
down where the old Boyertown used to be, in those rows of offices.
Do you find that there is a real need out in the community for these kind of educational outreaches?
Yes, there is a need. We've had a lot of success with all of our programs. I've had maximum of 6 people in a Dr. Dad, Dr. Mom class. So that kind of a turnout is definitely letting us know that there is a need.
The Operation Our Town connection, how did you make that, or how did you go about getting involved with Operation Our Town?
We are involved, the executive director at our office is also involved with Operation Our Town. She sits on the steering committee as well as the board for Operation Our Town. And I've also been able to do some volunteer work with Operation Our Town. So we've worked that way with them.
Because the whole Operation Our Town has this whole prevention
Yes.
methodology and the focus that they want to do programs that show real results. I guess it works well to have this kind of community partnerships developing.
Yes, it does, because we have found that key things, building the protective factors and reducing risk factors for families and for children, does decrease their risk for the drug and alcohol and tobacco use. So the Dr. Dad, Dr. Mom program is real key in that, as well as if parents are more involved with their children, know what they're doing, raising them the way that they need to be raised, does decrease those risks as well. So it's real key too.
I guess anytime you can find some sort of path or step that pushes people in a positive direction,
Yes.
that those are the lessons that carry through.
Yes, they are, and the children grow up in a well-rounded environment, reducing those risks, and then they eventually, hopefully, will be parents themselves and will be able to parent the same way.
Is your hope to have these programs offered in different neighborhoods or communities on a kind of regular basis?
Yes, that's my hope, is to have these classes offered in each area of Blair County, and this will be an ongoing, hopefully be an ongoing thing where they'll be offered throughout the year.
Well, it does seem to be the kind of programs that Operation Our Town wants to support and get out into the community because of the whole goal about prevention and keeping people out of the legal system. I mean, that seems to be where your focus is too here.
Yes, it is very much so.
All right. Well, we're looking at an awful lot of the programs that are supported by Operation Our Town with this edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods. We'll be back with more on how the efforts are paying off for the community right after this.
Be a good neighbor at Mainline National Bank. That means helping a neighbor with their business, home, or child's future. For Operation Our Town, it means eliminating drugs and crime from our community. In just 3 years, Operation Our Town has helped to reduce crime, provide drug treatment and prevention programs, and much more. Mainline National Bank encourages you to be a good neighbor and take back our neighborhoods. Go to wearecentralpa.com to find out how. Mainline National Bank, your good neighbor bank.
Welcome back to this edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhoods, an Operation Our Town program. Today we're joined by several people with programs that have been benefiting from Operation Our Town. Also in this segment, we're joined by Robin Beck, who is the Executive Director of the Blair County United Way, who also serves on the Operation Our Town Steering Committee and the Grants Review Committee. So, Robin, I guess you get to play a key role in finding the programs that can benefit or that should become part of Operation Our Town, at least for the support of the organization. How does that whole effort work?
Well, basically, one thing when Operation Our Town came together, they realized what the problem was, but they also realized they weren't experts. So they raised the money, they've made commitments from their own businesses and reached out to others and to the community as a whole to bring in this money. And what we're very focused on is proven results. We want to invest that money wisely. We want to invest it in programs that are proven right here in our community or in other areas that can really make a difference and make an impact in the issue of drugs and violent crime.
Well, that seems to be the sort of organization or the sort of groups that we've been talking with today. I mean, David Taylor, the Director of Ministries from the Door, Toni Bilik, the Executive Director of the Gloria Gates Foundation, and Lori Schultz from the Respiratory Disease Society. All of these organizations have programs that really seem to be making a difference. Are they the sort of outreach efforts that Operation Our Town is looking for?
Absolutely, they are. Basically, when Operation Our Town thought about how they could make an impact impact, they looked at several different things, and they felt that it had to be a two-prong approach. Not only did they want to fund proven law enforcement techniques, but they also realized that they needed to fund prevention and also treatment programs. So the grant cycles go through. There are 2 each year, and one is targeted directly at the law enforcement things. They fund saturation patrols, they fund drug dogs, they fund equipment for police officers, they've funded prosecutors in the system. So that's one side, and that's pretty much taken care of by a team of law enforcement people who make those recommendations. And the grant team that I sit on focuses on the treatment and prevention side. So we felt that it needed to really be a two-prong attempt, and as they said, we really want to look at proven programs that work.
Now, we were talking quite a bit before with David about the programs at the door that are out there. David, do you feel that you fit in right with this prevention effort that Robin is talking about?
Well, absolutely. Working with young people, I've learned over the years it is much easier to steer a young person the right way than it is to fix a broken adult. And so having a program like the door to help kids have an alternative to what some have said is already a predestined future of bad things for them, to have them have a chance to say, no, I'm going to break that. I'm going to be someone who has an education, a hope for a future, somebody who's going to be productive in society, somebody who's going to be a good mom and dad someday, and doing that because they've seen it modeled for them and realize that's enviable, that's something I want for myself. And that's been right in line with what Operation Our Town's trying to do.
Robin, is that what you see when you look at these recipients or possible recipients?
Absolutely. We feel that obviously we have to reach out to the children and give them opportunities to make the right choices and to mold them, to have mentors for them so that they see what the benefits are of being a productive citizen. I think in both the cases with Toni Bilik's the Gloria Gates Memorial Foundation and with Dave's Door, these are programs that have been in our community. I think Dave said his program's been here about 8 years already, and they have a real history of success. They've been able to work with children, and they can show us the results and show us the successes they've had, and that they're making a difference, that our children aren't choosing drugs, they're not turning to crime, they're becoming good citizens. And I think with Lori's program, Dr. Dad, Dr. Mom, that's a program that was developed nationally. Is that correct, Lori? And it's something that's really been proven, and there's a lot of data behind it that shows that this is a program that really does make a difference and gives the fathers and the mothers skills. And I think especially now there have been a lot of programs traditionally for mothers, but fathers are also sometimes caregivers, and I think that's something that is very important, to involve both parents, mothers and fathers, even if they're not in a family unit still, to give all of them the tools to be successful parents. So,
Lori, does it seem like you're able to pull in these fathers and open the door to people who really need the assistance?
Yes, we've opened a lot of doors with fathers and mothers that are oftentimes in single homes, and we've enhanced all their parenting skills so that each of them are comfortable with raising the child and co-parenting effectively together.
Well, when we were talking, Toni, before about what Operation Our Town has done for the Gloria Gates Foundation, you mentioned some programs, specifically like the Penn State Altoona support for the kids. Do you have to come to Operation Our Town with specific plans, or do you work that out in collaboration with the Our Town Board?
No, the Operation Our Town grant the application is written in a way that you have to be able to know ahead of time exact impact that you will have on the children, and be able to let Operation Our Town know how you're going to create that impact and write the grant in that way. In other words, you have to have a plan. Operation Our Town doesn't, like Robin said, just hand out money. They want to see the results. People work long and hard for their money and then donate to Operation Our Town. Again, they want to see results. Because of that, we have to, and it's good for all the agencies, we have to have a direct plan, and we have to think things through. How are we going to get the results? How are we going to do what we're telling Operation Our Town that we're going to do? So believe me, it's all planned out very well. And it works both ways. Operation Our Town gets the bang for the buck, and we stick to a plan that's effective.
Well, Robin, what sort of groups does Operation Our Town want to hear from? Who would you like to see come to your board or to the committees asking for support?
I think anyone in the realms of prevention, those are the kinds of things like programs of working with children, youth of all ages, way up, starting on the whole continuum, starting with very young children where you can have an impact in making the difference. There's some good programs in the schools right now where they're working with very young children from kindergarten and second grade, feeling they can make a strong impact. But I think every age group needs to be able to have things. Even looking last funding source, we funded a program that is called Crossroads, and that's for adult addicts who are fighting addiction and trying to stay clean. So we provided some things for them so that they could have a place to hang out and to be with people who understand their problems and have the same goal of avoiding drugs and alcohol and violent crime in the future. So I think anyone who has a program that can prevent drugs and crime, and that's the real key, we look, can this make a difference, and is it a well thought out program, and are they promising us results that we can be proud to share with our community, because that's the whole goal, to really make a difference in this. And then on the other end, we also realize that there are people who have gotten clean, have gone through a struggle of addiction or been incarcerated, and those folks may need some help and some treatment programs to help them get on the right path and to push them along. So any of those groups, I would encourage people to look on the website at www.ourtown.org and look at the types of things we've funded. There's the 2008 and 2009 programs there. Look at the goals of the program, which is to fight drugs and violent crime in our community. So look at ways that your program matches those. Look at our application. It is reviewed from time to time, but the current one is on the, just to look at and see what kind of things we ask for, as Toni alluded to. We do have specific things that we ask you to think about your outcomes, to talk about why your program can really make a difference. So I'd encourage them to go on the website, look at those, and it's really open to anyone that impacts those, all 501c3s, nonprofits, who can have an impact on this.
And then as a member of the Our Town Board, I guess you're always looking for input from the community or getting people to sign up or to investigate becoming a part and supporting Operation Our Town.
Absolutely. We're there in the community. We try and obviously we love people who want to support us financially. We love people who will come and volunteer, spread the word, and advocate for the issues and making a difference in our communities. And also, just if you have a problem, maybe you and your family have a problem with drugs and crimes, maybe in your neighborhood you see a problem, we certainly encourage you to call Operation Our Town, to look on the website, and also remind you of the Push Out the Pusher number that's become so popular.
Well, clearly this is Operation Our Town is making big steps in taking back our neighborhoods. In part, it's because of programs like those that Toni Bilik is running with the Gloria Gates Foundation, Dave Taylor's running with the Door, Lori Schultz is running with the Respiratory Disease Society, and all the support that the United Way provides. Robin, thanks for joining us. And that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Taking Back Our Neighborhood. Please join us again the next time with Operation Our Town and efforts to take back our neighborhoods.